All right, let's take a look at this. Oh, I got to change something around. Took all that time. Okay, now I'm ready. This is the example 2-1. It's on the bottom of 17, page 17. You see it? I tried to attempt to draw this. Now, they do have a three-dimensional figure right next to it. There's no way I can draw that thing. I mean, I guess I could come close to it, but I'm not even going to try. All right, you can just look in the book on the bottom of page 17. What I've shown right here is the base of this figure. Do you remember from yesterday we talked about how to find the lateral surface area? Okay, so what you have to pretend is this. This is the bottom of this figure, but what it does, it rises up a certain height. So look at the example. Do you see the picture on the right? That's what it really is. Are you with me? Judy, you got it? 17, page 17. So the picture on the right is what it actually looks like. And we're going to find the total surface area of the whole entire thing. You got it? So this is kind of like a footprint. This is what it's sitting on, right? This is the base of it. So if I just find the area of this, I'm not finding the area of the whole entire thing, the whole entire surface area. I'm just finding the base, right? The bottom and the what else? If this is the bottom of it and it goes straight up, this is also the, no, not the height. This is the bottom and the, come on, top, right? It just kind of flows, doesn't it? Bottom and top, yeah. This is the bottom and it's also the top. It's exactly the same thing on the top. You got it? Look at the picture on the right where it's all shaded, it's three-dimensional looking. Do you see that's what the top looks like? And the bottom's going to look exactly like that, isn't it? So what I have to do is I got to find the area of this thing for the bottom, find the area of the top, and then also find the area of the sides. We came up with a little formula. So in order to find the total area, let's write it like this. In order to find the total area equals, it's basically three different areas, isn't it? And really two of them are the same. So it's kind of like two different areas, but we'll write it as three. So you've got what? The bottom area, which is this whole thing right here. You got it? The rectangle and this half circle thing. So the bottom, what else? Talk to me, come on, we just said it. Top, you guys got to open up a little bit in here. And then plus, now here's the thing we talked about yesterday. You might remember from yesterday. It's everything around the sides. What do we call that? We gave it a big fancy math word. What is it? Not circumference, but it's the area of all the sides. Remember we took that piece of paper, rolled it up. Remember that? Yeah, it's something to do with the perimeter of the base, but it's, what did we call it? It started with an L. Lateral. Close. There's something in between. Do you have your notes in front of you? Should be right in your notes. I wrote it down yesterday. The lateral surface area. Good. The lateral surface area. And I just shorthand it, LSA, for lateral surface area. What does that mean? That means everything around the sides. So look at that picture on the bottom of 17. Do you see the lateral surface area? It's everything around the sides. It's everything except the top and the bottom. Does that make any sense at all? So that's what I want to find. I want to find those three things. Let's do this first. Let's find the area of this thing, and then we can just add it to itself or double it, whatever you want to do. And you've got those two out of the way. Then we'll worry about the lateral surface area. So let's put some numbers in here. They say that this side is 6, this is 5. They draw, oh, I should scooch that over a little bit. That's okay. That actually should be right here. Did I move it over or was it originally there? That's kind of dumb. Let me just do a little fixing here. Is that alright? You know how I am now, right? I gotta move that about right there. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Is that close? Yeah, we'll make it look like that, okay? And then I'll group that so I can move it around if I need to. Alright, so watch. If I draw a line from there to anywhere on this, it's a half circle, isn't it? And what's the radius of it? It's 3. Okay, so there's our information. Now they also tell you the bottom, but you can figure out that yourself. And they say that these are right angles. So what we're trying to do is we're finding the area of this thing. We call this the base. All right, that's what it's sitting on, right? It's the base. So let's find the area of it. Well, there's two parts to it. There's this rectangle, and then there's this half circle. So let's find the area of the rectangle. What's the area of that rectangle? 35. Okay, that's what I thought you meant. All right, so watch. The area of this rectangle is what? It's 6 times 5, isn't it? Which is 30. What's the area of this? This is a half circle. So what's the formula? It's pi r squared, but then it's half of a circle, so what do we do? Divided by 2. That's right. And the radius is 3. So watch what we do. So we've got 30 plus, and what's this going to be? 9 pi over 2. Do you see it? 3 squared is 9 times pi over 2. So let's just write it 9 pi over 2. We good with that? Yep. All right. So if you add those up, that's the whole base. Well, that's just the bottom of it. What do you got to do to the top? Add it again, right? Or multiply it by 2. Or let's just add it. So it's another 30, and it's another 9 pi over 2. So what do you get? You get 60 plus, what is this? 18 pi over 2. Or you could do it like this. Here's an easier way. Here's an easier way to do this. Just multiply it by 2. That's a lot easier, okay? Because you're multiplying it by 2, right? Watch what happens. Bang, bang. So what is it? 9 pi. So it's 60 plus 9 pi. That's the bottom and the top. Okay. Remember, when we do these things, I think it's easier. I really do. We don't even need a calculator for this, for the most part. Okay. There might be a few little times in there where it might be helpful to have one, but you didn't even need it because I don't have to multiply that by 3.14. I can just keep it pi. We good with that? Is that the whole entire total surface area? No, it's not. It's just the top and the bottom. So now what do I have to find? The lateral surface area. So that in itself is kind of a problem. But how do we find the lateral surface area? I wrote it down. Put it in a box and everything. Is it in your notes? Say it, Judah. That's right. It's the perimeter of the what? Of the base, right? And you can just write P if you want to. I'm going to write that in there just to remind you. It's the perimeter of the base times the height. Now, I haven't written what the height was, but if you look at the book, what does it say? It says the base of a right cylinder, talk to me. I'm looking at the bottom of page 17. 10 centimeters high. That's how tall this thing is, okay? So it's sitting on the base, but how tall does it go up? It goes up 10 centimeters. So if you wanted to, you could even have written it that down in here. I'm not going to try to draw it as a three-dimensional picture because I just wouldn't be that good at it, all right? So we'll let the book use their picture. So the height is 10 centimeters. So now, let's do this. The perimeter of the base. Now I got to find the perimeter of this. So it's, yeah, well, let's think about this. This is 5, and this is 5, which is 10, and 6, which is, how about 16? Okay, look, that's a 5, and that's a 6, and that's a 5, okay? That's 16. I'm only doing the straight edges right now, okay? Now, what about this? That's half a circle, isn't it? All right, so let's talk about that. What's the circumference of a whole entire circle? It's 2 pi r, but we're only doing what? Half a circle, so really, what's the circumference of half a circle? It's just pi r, isn't it? So in this case, what is it? Come on, think. It's pi times the radius. Look at the radius. It's 3. So what's the circumference of that half circle? It's 3 what? 3 pi. You guys are killing me. Look, that's the radius, isn't it? It's 3. What did we say the circumference of half a circle is? It's not 2 pi r, it's just pi r. So it's pi times 3, which is the radius, right? Yeah, it's pi times the radius, and the radius is 3, so it's pi times 3, or what? 3 pi. So what's the circumference of this whole thing? That's 5 and 5 is 10, and 6 is 16, plus, what's the distance around it from here to here? 3 pi, right, that's what we just found right there. It's the circumference of that half circle. So what's the perimeter of the base? It's 16 plus what? 3 pi. You take that and you multiply by the height. What's the height of this thing? It's 10. Very good. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could write this, what? 160 plus 30 pi. Now what is that? That's not my total answer. That's just the lateral surface area. I take the lateral surface area, add it to the top and the bottom, which we got that, and then just add those together. So what do you get? What's 160 and 60? See what I'm doing? I'm just adding these two things together right there. 220. Good. Okay, so it's 220 plus what? 39 pi. Did I even need a calculator? Nope, not with the numbers they gave me. And I kept the answer in pi, didn't I? I kept it in terms of pi. And really, that's all you need to do. Now, if you wanted to, and you're really into it, sure, you could go ahead and throw that into a calculator. Anybody want to do that? You got a calculator. Chuck it in there, see what you get. So put 39 times 3.14 and add a 220 to it and see what you get. Okay, 342.52. All right. Now the book says 5.3, but is that okay? Yeah. Why do you think they have 5.3 and we had 5.2? Probably because they used what? We used 3.14. They probably used... Yeah, they probably use the button on the calculator, okay? So if you use the pi button on the calculator, you could come off with slightly different answers, but do you think I'm going to be that picky about it? Of course not, okay? That would be perfectly fine. This is all in centimeters, and it's area, so it's centimeters what? Squared. Good. Now look, I took a lot of explanation for this, but really it's not all that big of a deal. What are we doing? This right here kind of sums everything up, don't you think? Oops, I missed the A. The total area is the top and the bottom, right? So no matter what the type of figure it is, just find the area of it. In this case, it happened to be a rectangle. Oops, a rectangle and a half circle, semicircle. So you find the area of that. And then what do you do to it? You just add it to the top, which is the same exact thing. Or you just double it. What did we get? 60 plus 9 pi. Now you find the lateral surface area. How do you find the lateral surface area? All around the sides. You take the perimeter of the base, multiply it by the height. So now we had to find the area of the base to get this. Now we have to find the perimeter of the base to get this. So that's what we did. We found the perimeter, just add up all the straight sides, find the distance around this, right? It's half a circle, so it's pi r, right? And you throw it in, and what do? You multiply it by the height. This was easy to do. I could do this in my head because it's a 10. Multiply those all together, I get this. That's the lateral surface area. That's everything around the sides. I add it to this one right here, which is the top and the bottom. Once I add those together, I've got my total surface area. All right. If you wanted to, you could leave your answer like this. That's a ugly arrow, isn't it? That's a little better. Okay, you could leave your answer like that if you wanted to. But they put it as a decimal, but they wait to the very end. I only have to use a calculator one time, right? I didn't have to use a calculator at all through that whole entire problem until I got to the end, and I'm like, okay, let's just chuck it in and see what we get, and that's what it is. That's not so hard, is it? No. It looks like a lot of writing, and it's a little bit of writing, but hopefully I boxed in the stuff that was important, okay? And you just break it up into those simple little things. Find the area at the top, the bottom, and the lateral surface area. The lateral surface area, you just have to remember, is the perimeter of the base times the height. You good with that? All right, let's go on to something else. That's it for area. Okay, what we're going to do now is, I think that's it for area. What we're going to do now is volume. Let me see. Yep, we're not going to do any more area, I don't believe. I think we're going to go right to volume. All right, so let's go ahead and do that.